So let's get started here. Call the meeting to order. So I've got 6:30 of the CIPC committee. First agenda, I guess we should do is minutes will be read at the next meeting. Postponed for tonight.
That's correct.
Everybody is still on the board that's here, except for Dan, he's still on, but he's on vacation.
Have we put up a notice? I can't remember if there's something online about vacancies in committees.
Who did I talk to
I-
last year?
I believe it is.
Yeah.
If you look and there's a place online where it says board vacancies,
Okay.
and it does list this board as, the last time I checked, which was probably a couple months ago.
Okay. Each of us should probably try to
Yeah.
maybe think of people we could reach out to and possibly.
I have a
Solicit.
couple. One's really nuts. I don't know if he'll fit on here properly. I mean, considering the way. One I do know, and I've asked him, and he's not really giving me some positive answers. So I don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah.
But I keep asking.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to remember to do that as you run into people, that you think might be a good fit.
Yeah.
I think this will be my last appointment. I think I'll do the 3 years and then maybe
Yeah.
move on.
I think you guys know three more. This 3 for me is my last.
Yeah.
That will
Uh-oh,
be
it's a whole
18
new committee then.
That'll be 18 years for me in this committee.
It's been that long. Holy cow.
2008.
That's scary.
Yep.
Since 6 years for me.
So that's 14.
That
3
doesn't-
would be 17 years for this
Yeah.
committee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been in existence that long even.
All right, well,
So,
we'll
first
keep our
thing-
eyes open.
Okay, first thing we gotta do is, do we have any old business first? I don't think so.
What is the status, the letter you put together, Joe? I've got a copy of that with me.
I might need to see it to know which one you're referring
Well,
to.
it's the one we approved at our last meeting.
You're talking about the letter to the select board?
Capital improvement recommendation.
Yeah, yeah, I have copies of that, Joe.
Oh, this was for before the annual town meeting.
Yeah. No. I don't believe that was, yes, it might have been before the annual town
that's what
meeting,
it is.
correct.
So,
Do you have another copy, Mike?
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what I don't have with me? Oh, do I? Did I have it?
because,
Well, first off, I'm not sure, I didn't check Robert's Rules of Order. Does the current board continue in the new year, or should we elect a new board first?
I'll make a motion to nominate Harry Seckman chairman.
there we go. I'll second that.
No, you're right, we do have to do that. And
Right.
the motion is very serious and.
Yeah. And then I would like to have somebody make just a slate across the board, standing
okay.
slate the way it is.
Yes.
Okay.
So, who do we have? We have,
I'm
Mike.
president, you're vice president, he's secretary, and he's general member at large.
Okay, so we don't have to vote on the general member, so
No.
I'll make a motion that we nominate the following slate for offices for the current fiscal year: Harry Seckman, chair, myself, vice chair, and Mike, secretary.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I feel weird appointing myself, but one of us is going to be appointing
That's
ourselves
right.
no matter what we do. So.
Dan could have done it, he's the attorney, but he's,
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so now, I had on here review recommendations made for 2023, so that's why I brought copies. I wanted to review that for tonight. Not a lot of the stuff got passed.
Yeah, what I'm looking for is I can't remember if I had a file of from the annual town meeting, because I think by the time we sent them our recommendations, the warrant had already been set.
Yeah,
I don't. What is this? I don't have it. It's all hard copies, which I didn't bring with me.
Yeah, the
But
last
I don't
time-
think any of these. I honestly can't remember. But
I
don't
know
think it's-
the air compressor didn't go through, the sewer truck didn't go through, the 5-ton dump and sand plow. I did not go through.
We were never quite sure how much money was available.
Well, and
Although there were funds and from here, there, and other places, but
Well, go ahead, Joe.
Well, all I was going to say is I ran into a member of the finance committee last night, just by happenstance.
Okay.
And I think there's still some proposals that amount to like $2.5 million or so, of things that are being talked about. And the question that was posed to me is, has that list and those items been communicated to us? And to my knowledge, they haven't been. So I'm wondering, knowing that information, if we should proactively reach out to the town administrator, Gary, and kind of ask him, what are you thinking about? What's the board talking about?
Okay.
And make sure that we get involved in the conversation. 'Cause
could we get Gary at one of our meetings?
I think that's a good idea,
Yeah.
What's his last name?
Kelleher.
Gary Keller?
Yeah,
The old
DPW.
The old DPW, yeah, okay. I know him.
I don't know if his title is acting or what the status is. I mean, he was brought in as acting, but
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's
Yeah,
Still
I've met
active,
him,
okay.
yeah.
Chosen.
I didn't know he was the one
Yeah.
appointed. That's funny. There's a lot of money. I'm curious what they're thinking of with all those remaining ARPA funds and stuff.
Well, also because I think the way we left things at our April meeting is we really were kind of left in limbo until we knew what that balance was
Yeah.
and whether it could be applied to any of these items that we had recommended for the current fiscal year.
Right.
So we kind of left things there, hoping that we'd have a decision by the next time we met so we could move forward, but I don't think we're there yet. So yeah, I think we should talk to
Yeah,
Gary.
when I spoke with, who did I speak with? Nancy Nichols at one of the meetings here, select board meeting, I think it was a while back. I had asked about what, because she was on the committee that oversaw the art funds.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And she goes, all the money basically was spent. And there was like $250,000 left over, something like that,
The ARPA funds?
of art funds, yes.
Where'd they go?
And so that's why we need to get Gary in here, just to be sure. And the last money that they had available, they sent out bonuses to town employees.
Yeah, so I don't know any,
So
and
I
I don't know if
don't
there's
know
yeah.
where-
I had heard
everything
some
else
other
stands.
towns did that.
Huh?
I had heard other towns had done that.
Well, there was no stipulation, at the end there was no stipulation on what the money had to be spent on.
And what do
So-
we have for funding to pay for these things then? Well,
That's
we
what
were
I
hoping
mean.
some of them might come out of there.
Well, the other thing is, that the big assessment book that we went through.
Yeah,
The items we pulled out of there, that, the exterior type items, we were hoping some of the funds could be applied to those items too.
Right.
And
I
that's
mean-
above and beyond any of this.
right, and Kerry did get the air conditioners fixed, she got some other things done here in the library, and I know, all the road work that was done, the accessories, everything we had to do in town for the 4th, a lot of that stuff got used for ARPA funds, was my understanding. But Gary can certainly clarify.
Yeah. So if nothing else, ideally, yeah, get them in here, but if nothing else, then a written explanation of kind of where we stand, and
Right,
if it's a capital item, hopefully everyone knows it should come before us too.
yeah.
Wow. And then there's some really heavy things that should be done. I mean, they're not that 1.9 million or whatever was left last time we talked about it in opera funding, but certainly there's a,
Well, that's what I mean. I would have, as a committee, I would have hoped the ARPA people would have talked to us.
Unless it was non-capital items that they spent it on. But even so, it makes sense to talk to us to
We're
see if
talk-
they should be applied to some capital
We're
items.
talking about infrastructure for the town. That's what the money was originally sent for.
that's all capital.
So,
You know,
I don't understand that.
that's why we had discussed, per the previous administrator,
Right,
a lot of paving and things, town lots and things that would be hard to get the money to do otherwise.
right, right.
And I don't think those things have been done.
So you're right, I think from a committee standpoint, where money was spent on the town stuff, we should have an accounting, at least for our committee, of how the ARPA funds were spent. To back up any of the stuff that we submitted that didn't get approved.
Doesn't all capital items seem to be approved, even if, regardless of where they came from?
That's
You
a
know?
touchy subject.
Well, they should.
They should be approved.
What's the purpose of this committee if they can spend almost $2 million?
But the question I have is, we don't know what it was spent on and whether it meets the
Exactly.
criteria of capital.
Right,
So-
and if you ask a lot of people, nobody knew what the ARPA committee, nobody even knew who was on the ARPA committee. So we had no idea, so I was just surprised. Maybe my fault is I should have reached out to them, but I had no idea. Except for Ron, who picked the committee, I have no idea who was on it.
Ron picked the committee.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
and he's gone.
right.
All right.
So, but I would like, hopefully this year, we can get the board and the town to agree to take care of some of this stuff. I mean,
Typically, a lot of what we recommend really doesn't get cared for until the fall town meeting and free
Absolutely.
cash is certified
Correct.
anyhow. So I'm not overly
Right.
concerned that none of this has been cared for yet, because it normally isn't by this
Right.
time of the year.
right,
But that having been said, we were hopeful that some of the rescue funds would either go towards some of this stuff and or some of those other things from that big facility study that we had.
yeah. I mean, two things on here. Number, I think the Woodhouse structural repairs is important, but I don't know how much of that got already done.
I think the only thing that was done and approved was the first half of the roof.
Right,
Yeah, and then it was sitting, and with that second half, I got 35 plus 27.5. I think the 35 was up front, and they were looking for 27.5 more.
Well, we
Finish
approved
it.
both, yeah.
Yeah.
The structural repairs was the 35, and then the 27.5 was for the second half of the roof.
Right.
And we approved both of them.
right, right.
Well, we
But
approved
I was
them, but that doesn't
surprised.
mean
They didn't get funded. I don't know that they got funded yet. That's
I
the
know,
question.
I know Seth does a great job of getting grant money and stuff for the fire department.
Yeah,
I'm just surprised, knowing that breathing compressor, it has a life expectancy of 2 more years. That's it. Then they can't use it anymore. So I'm surprised they didn't at least take some of that millions and buy an air compressor.
well, we don't know that.
Yeah, they might have. Who knows?
No, they didn't.
Okay.
No, they didn't.
We've seen him and spoke to him.
Yeah, I saw Seth.
I wish I remembered to bring the warrant from the annual town meeting.
I know,
so
I
we
just
know
threw
it
mine
was-
away about 2 weeks ago.
I didn't throw it away. I got it. I just didn't bring it.
I've seen Seth around town at events and stuff, but I've never talked to him about this stuff,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So
You know what?
this is,
It might be online still. See if I can get it online.
Well, there's a lot of meetings that have taken place that we could review online, and I've glanced at one or two, and
I wish I could do more of the select board meeting. That really gives me an in-depth look at what's going on too. Um, what'd you guys think of the 4th of July parade while Joe's looking it up? A 4th of July event,
event, I didn't go to the parade itself, but everything else uptown, it was a lot of fun.
yeah.
I watched the music, I've seen the music on Saturday nights a couple times, and the fireworks as usual.
Yeah.
Always good.
Yeah. The parade, one thing I walked away from that was the Shriners had different cars this year. And it was funny that they didn't drive their old things. I mean, these were really very nice this year. They upgraded really a lot for the kids.
Yeah.
A lot of candy got thrown out this year too. Kids loved it, the ones that sat in front of us.
All right.
But what didn't we really see a lot of this year? To any extent? The old fire brigade.
Oh. Public drinking is not a big deal anymore, apparently.
No, but dressing the way they did in the parades, a lot of flack had come down on them for that.
I didn't see the parade.
Yeah,
Um,
which in some cases it was the old, but hey, things change.
All right, where would I find? I know these things are still posted out there. I don't know where the heck to find it. All I'm looking for is the warrant
hmm.
to refresh us what was actually acted on at the town meeting.
Yeah,
That would have been The one in May?
You correct, yeah.
Right.
Community links, let's do
You can
view
always-
all. It might
You
be,
can always call it up and watch it.
Annual town election results, we're getting close. I don't know where it is. Townwide yard sale, it was after that,
It was like May 5th or something, wasn't it?
yeah. I don't know why it's not here. It's something that's usually always posted. I'm just probably looking in the wrong spot. Oh well, that didn't pan out. I don't know where to look.
Here we go, 2022 ATM warrant, June 8th, 2022.
June 8th. Was it on the 8th or was it in May?
2021 STM warrant, June 8th, 2020, created June 8th, 2022. Found in town clerk. Warrants active, May 1st, 2022.
Are you on the town website or somewhere else?
No, town website.
Where are you?
Where? How'd you get to where?
When I typed in the search, I just typed in warrants.
Oh. Well, I mean,
May 7th, 2020, annual town meeting minutes and warrant.
April 26th, April 30th.
Motion passed for payment.
Oh, yeah, okay, I got it. May 7th warrant. So what we really need is the motions, because I know there was a capital improvement warrant article, but it was non-specific as to what
Yeah,
was going to be moved.
on here it gets, motion carried. Article 6, no.
Oh, okay, yep, oh, the minutes are here, so this is good. Which article was our,
Article 8, no. Which is,
Are you looking at May 1st?
no, the meeting was on the 7th, I think.
yeah. It was May 7th, yep. And
I don't see that one.
we gotta go a ways to get to our stuff.
Here it is. Okay, so it's Article 14. So of our recommendations, the ones that were included and passed was the 73,590 for the
Switching gear?
switching gear, which I remember asking the question on the town meeting floor.
Yeah,
That was like our lowest ranked item or whatever, and how that one got picked.
yeah.
And then the other one that passed was the sewer service truck with the plow. So that was our number 3. So our number 3 on this letter and number 6 got passed at the annual town meeting
Number 6,
from this letter.
from that letter.
3 and 6.
They're different numbered in the minutes. 6, okay.
Okay.
So the ones that are still open is the breathing compressor, the structural repairs on Wood Studio, the 5-ton dump, the second half of the Woods roof. Those are still outstanding from what we recommend. 2 of them got passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember talking about that now, how those 2 came to be the ones that got passed.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't see.
Well, the sewer truck, they probably had the money in the
Sewer
available
retained
in the
earnings,
sewer
yeah.
retained earnings.
Yeah, that one I can understand. It was really the switch gear that confused me a little bit, because it was the
Yeah.
lowest ranked one out of the 6 we recommended. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Okay. So, passed in May. I'm wondering, just with the list that we got from Ron and the 5-year plan we got from everybody, how much more stuff we're gonna get this year?
Yeah, we didn't get a ton more last year.
No. I don't know if we're gonna get much more considering everything that's on their list already.
I mean, there's always gonna be those things that pop up that something broke and we need to replace it or repair
Right.
it, but aside
Right.
from that,
Okay.
I mean, we probably pretty much know about everything.
So that would be, how do we handle our future requests? In the past, we've always gone to Ron, and he sent it out to all the departments, or to Mike, and they sent it out. I don't know if Gary has that capability or is doing
Oh,
it.
we should. See, I would suggest that next meeting we have, we invite Gary and let him know ahead of time the things we want to talk about, which would include any funding, what the balance is of ARPA, what the plans are, what's been talked about, so we're all on the same page, and then, the process of sending out the requests to all departments and whatever, hopefully through him, to collect the next round of requests.
Yeah,
So I wasn't even sure about the status of that. Your letter did get there in time for
yeah,
the meeting, and they chose 2 items.
Yeah.
We just don't know why those 2.
right, and any recommendations still pending?
And then I think the other thing that we still had open, that we were still mulling around and waiting for the ARPA response, was a bond package, right?
Right.
We had a lot of conversation about things like that would fall in a bond package if it couldn't be funded through ARPA. So I guess that's still a point that we could talk
And,
through.
Well, that's something
right, because
that
Ron wanted us
us
to put
do,
this
but-
stuff on the list so we could request a bond package.
Right, but it also still makes sense, maybe regardless of who brought up the idea,
Yeah.
to talk about, is there anything that rises to the level, because the other thing we gotta keep in mind is we've got borrowing that falls off the books in FY 2024, 5, and 6, right? And we were gonna talk about, even if it's not a bond package, it would be, and even if it's not as big as what Ron was talking about.
Right.
If it's something that would fit in and kind of take the place of that debt that's falling off the books in the coming fiscal years.
Well, we know the fire truck's gonna be up in a year or 2. That was according to Seth.
Yeah, and that might qualify for matching grant or something. Not matching grant,
Yeah,
federal or state funding. He was hopeful once he had another year or 2 under the belt on the age of that.
Yeah, but it's going to be prioritized. We haven't really prioritized that
right.
against everything else we've got on.
But I'm just
Yeah, we
saying,
kept
if
putting it
we do a
off
bond
because
package, we don't
it
wanna
kept
do
getting
one
put
now
off.
and then come back and say in another year or 2, well, we got another $1 million.
Well, I
So-
don't know. Do we though, or don't we? I don't know. I guess that's what we got to talk about, figuring out the timing of when the various balances fall off the books, and
Right.
whether we do everything at once or kind of align with when it falls off the books, so there's kind of a level tax rate.
That would be, would we talk to the accountant or the,
Actually, Becky,
Becky?
I have information from Becky, because when we started to talk about this last April, March and April,
Yeah,
I did reach out to her, and who in turn, she reached out to our bond counsel, or, the Unibank, whoever she deals with,
Right.
advisor. And if I haven't already, I will share what we got back.
I think you did.
I think I did.
I think you did.
But it outlines, the files in there show the debt we have, when it falls off, and what it would amount to if we wanted to do a bond package, how we could backfill it.
Yeah, was that, what's that term they use? Not inside, outside debt.
Excluded, not excluded.
Excluded, not
Yes.
excluded?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
I didn't like the idea of any kind of bond package unless it was some sort of emergency item or something.
I know
It's hard
that's-
to get that, it's hard to get people to support it.
Because once the bond goes off, you always want to replace it, not replace it.
Mm.
you know?
Yeah, well,
Here it is. I
some
found the
debt's
file.
falling away.
She sent it to us at the end of March. It was March 28th we got it. So let's figure this out. Excluded debt. 20 fiscal year 2024. The Rutland Heights Hospital property and the ambulance both fall. That's their last payments, FY 2024. And then after that, the next ones to fall off is FY 2026. And those are the additional elementary funds for the work at the elementary school.
Yeah.
The building renovation funds and the elementary school construction. That must be Glenwood.
Okay.
And that's significant. You know, so what falls off in 2024 amounts to $165,000. And what falls off a year in payment. And what falls off in 2026 is an additional $445.
Wow.
Oh, but hold on. Only $348 of that is excluded. The rest is not excluded. But the portion that's not excluded is $96,000, so it's not the bigger portion.
Okay, so that's not a big deal. Yeah. Okay, so in a matter of 2 years, you've got over $500,000 a year coming off.
And that's the question I asked. So if we look at that 500, that 378 plus that 165, that total, and we try to work that back into a total amount that could be borrowed, the total value, I think it worked out to be a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
To back into like a 20-year debt schedule. No, we asked the question about pavement. How long can you borrow for paving package? I think the answer was like 10 years.
Yeah.
So if you borrowed, how much could you borrow for a period of 10 years to back you into that payment? And I think it was about $2 million.
Okay. Yeah, so if the bond package is done right and we get the right stuff in there, that could be a tremendous benefit to the town and what we need.
I mean, when you look at some of this 20 million plus on the facilities package, doesn't seem like that much.
I mean, yeah, I know. The big question on the facilities is the town hall.
Mm.
I mean, you know, how many more years are we gonna put off doing that?
I'm curious what extra got thrown in the library, because that had some exterior work also that needed to be done. I mean, we know the roof and everything, but...
Right, over here got done where the water runs down in.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was
That got
more of a
done.
concern, yeah.
Yeah, so that water keep coming in.
Yeah.
What, did that get done in the spring?
I think so,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you should be able to see, you know, down the side there,
Mhm.
you should be able to see that it was done.
Oh.
I was saying that ARPA funds should have been used for everything for this building,
Yeah,
because this building was a COVID central place, you
Right.
know? If you couldn't justify spending it here, where could you justify it?
I know. Yeah,
It was a regional
Don't
point
get
here.
Carrie going on that one.
Yeah.
Don't get her.
No, I
No,
would
but I
have
agree.
supported her with
I would have too. I
getting
think
it
it was
done.
important. Absolutely.
Maybe some of it did go there. We don't know that yet. We don't have those answers, but maybe
Oh.
Gary will.
Not off the topic, but speaking of that stuff and what could possibly be the library again used, was it the CDC? I forget, just declared monkeypox another,
Oh, yeah.
okay, so I don't know how bad, I don't think it'll be like COVID-19 was.
No, I don't think it spreads quite as easy. It does spread with personal contact.
Yeah, so the site may be used for something like that again, if it ever gets that bad. Okay. All right. So I will either meet with Gary or call him and let him know we'd like him to come to our next meeting and give him a list of the stuff here that he can bring with him.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're in the same boat as we were in April. Until we get those answers, it's a little tough to do much more. As far as, because what we really wanted to
Right.
do was dig into some pretty good planning of that facility study of what we wanted to tackle and what would be tackled within ARPA and outside of ARPA.
Right. I don't know, I think we shouldn't have a long process of recommendations this time, because a lot of stuff is already that we just review, so we don't have to cut through all the paperwork and dig for stuff, because we already have it. So I think
Then you got this.
Gary should have a little easier time getting us the information, I guess is what I'm saying too, because a lot of that stuff we already had.
And then we're moving up another year in the long-term planning.
Right. So,
And the facilities isn't even in that.
I know. Have you guys heard anything about this buildings committee?
No,
No?
just what we had
I mean,
talked about a couple of years ago.
Ron wanted it, well,
I
Ron,
think it kind of died.
yeah, I did too.
Because
So,
that was, 3 town administrators ago?
yeah,
Really?
That was Margaret.
That was Margaret.
That was Margaret,
Yeah.
right.
right.
That was a good idea. Bring her back.
Well, I think Ron did didn't he hire an outside firm to come in and do a facility?
Well, that's
study?
what that big report was from.
Yeah.
Right, and I read all that, and it's like, okay, shouldn't that have been gone to the building committee then?
But I don't think it ever,
I
I
don't-
don't think it ever actually formalized and even met.
No,
No. I don't even know that members were even named to it.
you're right.
I don't think it ever got that far. So.
And I know Gary's not gonna do it, because that's not his, as a temporary, I don't think he's
Yeah.
gonna pull that together.
Yeah.
you know.
I heard some recommendations. It might have been Margaret who made them the last time we met with her for people, but.
Yeah, I know names were floated, but I
Right.
don't think they were ever actually appointed or,
Right, so there's not too much we can do in a facility study at this point,
no. we were
Until-
really-
we give it a little bit of a path to walk on. Okay. Anything else on,
Well, I mean, there might have been a few things actually done if they took care of some of this, because some of the things around here that you said were done were in there.
yeah, well, yeah, but they weren't big things, So, if the library got $50,000, 7,000 went to this, 2,000, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But she still didn't get new carpets.
We identified, I'm going back to our notes here, we identified about $1.4 million worth of non-paving, oh no, these were paving drainage projects in the facility report that we wanted to go after. And that was the
The
amount.
town lots.
Town lots and drainage,
Yeah.
That was the amount we were thinking about with that bond package, and why we asked that question of the bond advisor of, how much you could borrow to backfill the debt falling off.
Right,
But we stopped short of doing anything because we were hopeful that some of that could be applied, some of the ARPA funds could be applied to it instead of
Right, sure.
borrowing for it.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, so other than calling Gary in, should we have Becky come in? Once we meet with Gary, and then have her come in on another meeting?
I guess we figure out where we land with Gary, because really Becky, I think, provided us anything we need, we already got from Becky.
Okay,
And I'm sure if we needed, I don't even know if she would need to come in, she would just need to get us a file that
Some
would give
files.
us the data.
okay. That's pretty much it, what I had down here for business, in terms of going over and reviewing what we did, and then how to handle the 2024 requests. And until we meet with Gary, there's a little bit we don't know exactly how that's gonna happen, so we can deal with that the next meeting. Is there any other new business that you would, I hate to keep the meeting so short, but I'm not gonna talk ourselves through
I
it.
don't think you have any complaints about a short meeting.
Okay, yeah.
Just saying.
But is there any other new business out there that you could think of?
No, I like that we're starting so early, thinking about getting the request, the next round of requests out.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah,
And just nailing down funding question marks and filling in those blanks so we can move forward. I think that's what we need to do right now.
Do you, in evaluating the stuff, I was thinking about this, in evaluating the projects, do you think we need to develop a little different form? Do you think that really handles what we do? I mean, it's not ours, it was originally the state's, but is there a need to redo that? I think I ask that every year, to do that.
I think there's enough leeway in there, the way we rate things on importance and stuff, that things that we really feel the town needs more, you really can't, it's hard to qualify it sometimes, but I think that gives us enough leeway, the way we rate things, and we move things up a half point or another point based on some of those categories they have.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, Mike. I think, if we look back in time and we figure out, like, if we look at last year and just look at the things that rose to the top in comparison to the whole list,
Right.
just logically, without not even applying a numeric value, things landed pretty much where I would have thought in matter of importance they should have.
Yeah.
I think the scale landed us there. And that,
Right.
to me, kind of proves that, even though it's not perfect, because nothing's going to be perfect, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, my point in asking that is, I wanted this committee to take emotions out of it
Yeah.
as much as possible and go with the facts on why something should be recommended. So, and if the sheet does that, then we'll keep the sheet, without.
Yeah, I agree with that. Things kind of, they fell where they did, and some of the other things that were less important, some of the drainage and some fields and stuff, that's from the year before, but still,
Yeah.
the rating was much lower. I mean, the fire compressor, that went right to the top.
It was right to the top.
It's
Firemen's
firemen's
lives
lives run like
safety.
safety.
Right,
It makes perfect sense that it rises to the top.
right,
Yeah.
okay. So, rating sheet.
And that's why you wonder why the two items that got approved on the warrant were middle of the road. They were in the middle. I mean, they're all valuable things, but the single most important thing there didn't, unless,
Yeah, I mean, the two general funded items, the top, the breathing air compressor, which would have been from a general free cash fund,
Yeah,
had 40 points, and the electrical switchgear had 33 points.
actually, you
I
can
know.
almost separate out the sewer truck with plow, because that may have been free cash
that
in their
could have been
earnings.
separate department, or separate cash. flow.
Separate cash flow.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
you can
that's why
almost
I-
understand that.
That's why I
Right.
took that one out and compared exactly, I agree. So I don't know why the switchgear was picked and the breathing air compressor wasn't.
When DPW has the funding to pay for some of these items they need, we're just kind of rubber stamping it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
when the cash is there.
Okay, so we'll keep the rating sheet the same, no need to, and I'll tell you, since 2008, when you initially, Joe pushed to have this committee, I don't think we've ever really changed the rating sheet. We might have changed the point system or added a by law issue or something like that, but other than that, that rating sheet's we've been used now for, what, 14 years?
If it ain't broke, don't fix
And it
it.
ain't broke. That's right. But, if there's a way, as time goes on, we need to tweak it, that's fine, but if we don't, let's not.
I mean, what we could do is we could go out, I don't think I've done it, I don't know if anyone else has, we could go out, this rating sheet was from some state capital improvement
It was
website.
from Mass,
I don't know if it's been updated there.
right.
We could look to see if there's been any updates to the sheet at that level and see if it makes sense for us to, if there have, to apply.
That was part of a kit.
Yeah. And I'm sure the kits get updated every now and again, so there may be some updates there.
I'll check.
Okay.
I'll check on that.
Probably not. but
Probably
maybe.
not, but I'll check.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing that I had a question on too was, how we get our submission requests for equipment and then for, there's two types of requests that we get.
Buildings and,
Buildings and stuff. One of them has, a listing of your expenses and everything else on it. Should that be part, if we have questions, should that be part of our follow-up with the departments rather than have, because you and I know, every time it comes in, half of that stuff is missing.
Yeah.
So, is that request, rather than going through Gary and updating the capital plan that he has, and I don't know if that'll be done, do we still this year need to have him send out those requests? I just feel like there's a little confusion between the departments and the admin and us in terms of what we're looking for.
Well, I guess we just detail what we want and ask for it. I mean,
Well, is on the sheet, it asks you this, you know, all that stuff that we use for our rating sheets, that we look at, but a lot of that stuff just doesn't get filled in.
oh, yeah, and maybe that's part of the conversation. I remember talking about this with Ron, and I think Ron did a fairly good job at trying to collect that information.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe that's part of our conversation with Gary, is that, just point out that, you know, we need all the details that are on the form, we need them filled in. Because it's gonna alleviate a lot of questions from us back to him,
Right.
and in turn, him back to the departments, or us directly to the departments, or
Right.
whatever. So it just makes sense to get it up front.
Okay, we'll push that with him. Let me make a note up here on the process sheet. The other thing that I had a question on was, there were a lot of committees that submitted stuff under Ron's plan, 5-year plan, that normally didn't submit stuff to us. Not a lot of committees, there were some committees. And I'm wondering why. Because we've been sending out every year to every committee or town board or whatever requests, and we don't get anything back. And I'm trying to figure out, maybe Ron did a great job of doing that this year.
If I remember
Yeah.
right, some of what Ron included in his 5-year plan was from Ron.
Okay,
It wasn't necessarily from
The
the
department.
department or the committee.
Well, I mean, the library, we kind of knew what Kerry wanted here,
right,
even though she hadn't been good about putting it in writing previously, she'd tell us. But, you look at the Council on Aging and the community center and everything. There's a bunch of items here that, well, some that we know about, but
well, Nancy did it, not Nancy, the COA chair, did a great job this year of putting out things. Was it Nancy?
Nichols?
yeah.
I think it was, did a great job of putting out things last year that, you know, for example, the van. Well, I don't know when the last time was we saw a van on there.
But I reached out to her.
Oh,
That's,
see, that's,
I emailed her this year to follow up on those.
Okay.
The other one that we followed up on that we had seen a previous year was Moriarty for the radios.
yes,
yeah.
And he said, no, don't pursue it. Same thing with Nancy. She said, no, not ready, don't pursue it.
She wanted to do it as a regional thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
And I don't know if the radios, no, that was independent of the regional, wasn't it?
No,
was
that
just-
is regional. So
Oh,
that is
I didn't know if it was
He
just
had
our
to
share.
align with the other 4 towns or
Yeah,
5
okay,
towns.
so same thing,
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah.
And then there was the ambulance thing, that's a done deal, isn't it?
The new one?
No,
No, the
Dealing with
reciprocity, what he's
with
overseeing
OCAM
the other
and-
towns?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
no?
I don't think that's, I know we bill them for ambulance use,
Yeah.
but beyond that, I don't
Well,
know.
we were gonna take over their old ambulance and have it rehabbed or
No,
something.
I think where we were gonna take over stuff had to do more with the dispatch.
Oh,
No, I think
Regional.
he's right.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it might be a done deal, but I don't know for sure.
Okay, I don't know either.
Yeah.
they were not gonna take, we were gonna take responsibility for their ambulance and everything and bill them for everything.
Right.
I don't know, Seth spoke to us about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to get Seth back in here.
Well, he's usually pretty good, he's always willing to come in.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's getting ready for retirement in maybe 20 years.
That's what I was gonna say, is he ready yet? I
He
didn't think
just,
so.
no, God loves Seth. He just, you know, he loves what he does. He loves it, you know. Okay. So I'll take a look at that.
Joe Buckley could go in another 5 years.
What's that?
Joe Buckley could go in a few more years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why is he getting to that age, or
I think so, yeah.
he has his 20 in?
Oh, he's got to be good on 20.
Yeah, well, he worked in Worcester for 25.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't imagine going more
I
than
worked,
30.
I worked with him for a long time in Worcester.
I mean, your pension doesn't get any bigger after 30, really, so why,
Yeah.
you know? Unless you
No,
know what
I-
to do. Okay. Anything else under new business? 'Cause that's pretty much all I wanted to cover tonight.
All right, that's,
We have our new dates,
yep.
so I'll turn these into Kerry.
Make sure Dan knows.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll come.
I'll send Dan a listing of the new dates. And you're not sure of
The only one I'm
The
questioning is,
25th?
no, September 15th.
15th.
I'll be at the next one. It's the 15th that I'm questioning.
I mean,
And
we
I'll
can-
probably make the 15th.
But we can make it a Wednesday, the 14th. That's not a big deal, Joe.
Well, let's talk next month, and then we can.
By the end of the month.
Well, you know what? I'll put this down
Oh,
for
yeah,
the,
our next meeting.
yeah, I'll put this down because I want to turn in and get a date
Okay.
solidified for here. And then if we have to change it next month, I'll just redo it
Can you,
with
can you
Kerry.
put in the 14th and the 15th? So we can hold the room?
We can try it.
I would do either one. I don't care.
I mean, if we can all do either one, then I would prefer the 14th. It would make it a lot easier.
Gotcha.
If it works for you guys, it makes
Oh,
it
right
easier.
now I have nothing on there. Like I said, I'm hoping to be around for the 25th. I honestly don't think Mom's gonna hang on that long. So I'll be back after all that is settled. Unless we're going to have down in Pennsylvania, they do auctions,
Oh, for estates?
estates. So unless they decide to have the auction around that time, if she's gone before, I won't be here for that. But I'm hoping that everything will settle out so
Sure.
I can be here.
Should I change this to the 14th?
14th? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna put, yeah, let's just do the
Okay.
14th,
That works better.
I believe. If it's available, I'm gonna put it down. Okay. 9/14, I'll do that. Okay. All right. Any other business?
And then the other one is that's
20th.
September.
That's
Oh, no,
the
that's
last
September.
September,
Right,
the
that's
last
that's the
one.
last one I put in here. Was
So we got
September.
three. We got tonight, then we got the 25th, and then we got the 14th.
Yep.
So we're booked here for the next two.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Meeting adjourned.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
7:19.